People, welcome back to our YouTube channel and thank you so much for joining the channel today. If you are new here, guys, please do not forget there is a subscribe button down here. Please click that subscribe button and make sure you turn on the bell so that when I drop the next video you would be the first person to watch. Now we are going to be talking about something very different today. Let's talk about this issue of moving to Canada. We all know that there are laws put in place by the government now for international students who intend to study in Canada. Someone was asking me if it's only for students or for workers. It is now just for students. So the law says that if you apply to a college and you are moving to Canada, you intend to move with your family or maybe with your spouse, just know that your spouse is not going to get what we call the spouse's open work permit. If you are moving with masters or PhD, you are free to go. Okay, there is no limitation to that. That is rule number one. And the other option was saying that there is the Canada government mentioned was the reduction in the number of student visas as compared to last year. As a matter of fact, they said they are going to be approving just 360,000 visas. It's not possible. And another option is even saying that, or another thing they said is they are going to be giving attestations, and these attestations are going to be available only from March 31st. That's already April. Now, what time would the attestations come in? When you go and apply for the visa, what time does it take? How many months will it now take for you to get? And after that, is it a guarantee that you are going to get the visa? So if you are rejected, what happens of you now? It means that you are going to waste more years again on ground. So my first advice is do not rely on Canada and make sure you apply to other countries if you really want to move. You must not move only to Canada. Also look at some countries in Europe. The first thing is we are migrating because where we are not comfortable. Where we are not making the money. So now it's not just about migrating. If you want to migrate now, you should look at a country that you can make money, you can actually be successful, or maybe just make money, take care of yourself, change your status. So you should avoid certain countries. It's not just about moving, because I hear some people say it's just let's just move, let's just go to this place, then we figure a way out. No, cancel that idea. Otherwise you are going to spend a lot of money if you are not very careful. Now let's come back to the issue of the Canada. Since Canada is now saying that spouse will no more get spouse's work permit except they apply to universities, masters or PhD, what is the way forward? I spoke to somebody this afternoon and this triggered me to make this video. Now there is one way I want to tell you. I think there are two, but I think one should be the best. Okay, the first way I want to talk to you about this Canada thing is, first of all, hold a meeting. Call your husbands, call your spouse, call your family. You guys should sit down and have a meeting. Okay, this thing is more of planning now. Because initially maybe you were planning to apply as a family of 4 or maybe 5. Now this is the time. Hold a meeting and let one person apply for the school. If at all the wife or the husband haven't applied yet, one person should apply. But the person who should be doing the application now should be the person who is like have some qualifications, who is hardworking, who is fast and let me say smart. You understand? Now what happens here? You must not necessarily apply now to a university. The reason is because sometimes university takes a lot of money. It needs too much money for university and the tuition are expensive. Sometimes for you to study in university, you will need to dedicate more time in school, and at the end of the year you might be forced. Of course, it's not a force, it's a must. You must write thesis, right? And all of these things, let's say if you are science related, it's going to take you a lot of time, especially when it involves data analysis. All right, I've done this, so I know what I'm talking about. And again, if you are science students, you have to go into the field, to the lab, internships and stuff. Now if you think that this is going to be an option, you can take it and apply with your family. But I'm talking in the case it's not going to be an option, because as a member of the broke community, I always look for ways to advise people to use the simplest means possible. The only way now is for one person, like I said before, to apply for a school in a college, a very cheap college. There are cheap colleges in Canada, right? You apply for a cheap college. Now When it's time, you apply for the visa, struggle and move to Canada and leave the other people behind. Now, remember, this is going to take you maybe 1 year or 2 years, depending on the program you are studying, because some programs last 1 year, some 2 years. But I will advise you, all right, take a 2 years program. The reason why I'm advising you to take a diploma for 2 years is because now you are in Canada with the focus that you have a family behind. You have to bring them in, right? You have to be hardworking. Remember, I said before that take the person who is smart and hardworking. Maybe the wife or the husband, it doesn't matter. All is that you should be prayerful and plan as a family. Okay? Do not go reach there and you start misbehaving. No, this is not the way life functions. You plan, you sit down and you move. Now, in there you study. While you are working your normal 20 hours or maybe the double shift or whatever, you save money, right? You are now saving because you have to pull the other people from Africa and bring in, or from Asia or from abroad and bring in with you. But remember, you are not bringing them on any other visa. Remember, I said you have to go on a study visa. Don't bring any person on any other visa. Finish the program. And before I even forget, remember, when you are moving, you should be going to a province, all right, that have certain pathways where you can easily apply for PR, permanent residency. There are provinces in Canada that when you study in there for 1 year, okay, after graduation, after working for 6 months, you can now apply for jobs and you can be able to convert your student status from PGWP directly to PR. I hope you understand. Like provinces like New Brunswick, if you live in New Brunswick for I think 16 months, there is a program you can apply. They call it Atlantic Immigration Pathway, I guess so. There are certain programs, certain pathways to PR which are not directly the express entry. There is also another pathway called provincial nomination. You can apply for a provincial nomination, right, if you meet requirements to easily get PR. Now remember, when you are applying for the PR, because you have to get a nomination, when you are applying for the PR, they will ask you, are you applying with family or not? This is where your family comes in now. Remember, you have to go as a single person. Then you go to a province like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, I think to a greater extent, Alberta, right? First of all, you sit down, you check the various immigration pathway. Remember, these things are not fixed. They can change at any point in time. So please put this at the back of your mind. You go to these provinces, as long as you study, you dream big. When you finish, immediately you finish, while you are studying in school, there are even some provinces that part-time jobs qualifies you for PR application. Yes, New Brunswick is an example. While you are studying, just for 6 months work experience, you apply for your PR. And when applying, put your family inside, and before you know, you will be approved. Or you can decide, when you gain this work experience, you can decide to go through the express entry route, which is, I don't think if you are already in Canada, you should be chasing express entry again. You should be chasing maybe provincial nomination, or you use other pathways like the Atlantic Immigration Pathways, all right? New Brunswick has it. I think Saskatchewan have it. I think Manitoba has it. Please, you should check all of this. This is the best advice I can give. Then the other option you could take, which is not really feasible because it's going to be cost effective, like cost you a lot of money, I could say that the two of you, spouse and spouse, apply for both study visas, apply for admissions and go as students. But this is going to cost you a lot of money because remember, living cost was changed by the government from 10,000 to 20,600, and you need to show living costs, tuition fee entirely, plus 5,000 or 6,000 for miscellaneous. So if you calculate all of these, it will be pulling you to like close to 17 million, your own currency, and probably around close to $40,000. Because looking at the tuition fee now in Canada, the cheapest college I've seen so far, there are cheaper colleges, but I think New Brunswick is easy to go in. New Brunswick Community College. For Nova Scotia Community College is a bit complicated. So please put all of this into consideration. Then, for those families who are still abroad, like in Africa, Cameroon, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Morocco, Tunisia, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Philippines, you can look into the express entry route. But while looking at the express entry route, remember, there are things you need to consider: your age, your job, okay, your qualification, you have a family or not, how many people. You have to put all this into consideration. And remember that when it comes to express entry, the points that are being selected, those that are being selected to apply, like sending invitation, those that are being given invitations to apply for permanent residency, all right, this is the cheapest pathway because proof of funds is, I think, around $13,000 to $14,000, right, for a single applicant. Now, if you look at that, you will see that it's very cheap. But if you put all the points together, you will see that those that are being selected, in fact, I was looking at it, the general option for express entry, the least points that were selected, I think 6 days ago, was around 530. Imagine. And for how long will you be waiting for express entry? That is the question. Like I said before, you need a meeting. And if you think that your age and the documents you have, your IELTS, the score, and if possible, take the French exam, if you think that the points can amount to 500, then you may decide. If you think that you and your husband can go in for the heights and both of you decide. If you think that you are the best qualified candidate to pull through with that, you decide. Like I said, you have to have a meeting and decide on all of this, on how to move to Canada in 2024. Do not waste a lot of time, because next year another law will be coming. Next year laws will be coming. All right, this is not only for Canada, this is also for Europe. Like I said, you can be looking at other countries too which can accept families, like Denmark and others. Okay, don't just base your mind only on Canada, because things are casting already. You can see another law just came out. British Columbia now will not be taking many students for 2 years. Ontario will not admit students again for 5 years. So these are some of the things. Well, it's just suggestions. It's not like a general advice. It's not a must that you must take this. This is a disclaimer, okay? So do what really suits you. I'm just here to give you advice for you to put things into consideration. I hope you enjoyed this. Till we meet again in another one. Bye.